And we're going to start with grammar. So this is page 157. Okay. It's a review page. 157 is where I'm at. Talking about openers, we already know pretty much all the openers. You guys are almost done with this book, which is pretty cool. So just a few more lessons. After today, there's only 3 classes left. It's crazy. So we're talking about prepositional and clausal openers. So the number 2 is the prepositional opener, and the number 5 is the clausal opener. So a number 2 prepositional opener is a sentence that begins with a prepositional phrase. Write the pattern for a number 2 prepositional opener. So the pattern for a prepositional phrase is, oops, let me fix my light here. I have to move it down. Preposition, so go ahead and put preposition. You know the list of words, you know where to find that, plus a noun. And then in parentheses, you can put no verb. That is the main difference between a phrase and a clause. Because clauses, remember, have verbs and subjects and verbs. But phrases do not have a verb. They only have a noun. Okay, and then it says number 5, clausal opener is a sentence that begins with a www word. You know that, www.asia.b. When, while, where, as, since, if, although, because, and contains a subject and a verb. Write the pattern for a clausal opener. So remember, phrases don't have a verb, clauses do. So for this clause, you're just going to write www word, whoops. Plus a subject, plus a verb. Preposition plus noun for the prepositional phrase. www word plus subject plus verb. That's for the clausal openers. Those are the 2 patterns. And remember, the preposition because can also be an adverb, like an adverb clause. It just depends on how you use it. If you include a subject and a verb, it becomes a clausal opener. But if you use it without a verb, that's a prepositional phrase. So that's one of those words that can be either one, depending how it's used. So some words can begin either a number 2 prepositional opener or a number 5 clausal opener. Like I just said, always check for a verb. If there is a verb, it's a clause. If there is not a verb, it is a prepositional phrase. Complete the following sentences using the verbs and nouns in the list or words of your choice. Include a subject, noun, and verb to complete the number 5 clausal openers. Include a noun or article plus a noun to complete the number 2 prepositional openers. You may add other words to complete the thought. So you see on the side here, 2s and 5s. So the 2s are going to be the prepositional openers. The 5s are going to be the clausal openers. So remember the difference between the 2. The first one I'll do with you, and then I'm going to have you guys take turns coming up with stuff. So here it starts with beneath blank, Robin laughed. So beneath is a preposition. And remember the prepositional phrase, because that's what they want here, number 2, does not have a verb. So it could be something like beneath the tall cliff, Robin laughed. Beneath the rising sun, Robin laughed. You can basically put whatever you want there, but no verb. And here are your choices here. So you're not going to pick a verb, right? You're only going to pick a noun. The word cliff is on here. That's where the example came from. Cliff is here. So we can put beneath the tall cliff. Okay, so what you're going to do is for number 5 clausal, you'll look at the verbs. For the number 2 prepositional, you'll look at the nouns here. All right, so Bronx, let's see if we can get one from you here for this one. This is clausal, so you do need a verb. Because blank, he was pleased. What do you think? Because blank, he was pleased. So you're going to need a subject. So it's probably Robin that they're talking about.
Because Robin was pleased.
No, we need a verb. So look at the list of verbs here. You're close. Because Robin sprinted across the finish line. We could say that. Because Robin sprinted across the finish line, he was pleased. Or because Robin trusted a friend, he was pleased. So you see where I'm going with that. Robin is the subject. We can put that part in. So what else can we add here?
Robin was,
Instead of
because
what?
Robin because Robin escaped, he was pleased.
Okay, good. I like that. That escaped is not here, but that's okay. You can pick your own word. Because Robin escaped, he was pleased. Very good. I like it. Because you have the subject Robin and the verb escaped.
Mhm.
Good job. Okay, so let's see. Let's do Abby, do the next one. This is prepositional, so you're not going to be picking a verb. You're going to pick a noun here. Without blank, he seemed troubled.
Without his bow and arrow, he seemed troubled.
Good. I like it. Without his bow and arrow. No verb there, so that's preposition. So Paisley, the next one is clausal, so that means you will need a verb. As blank, Robin lost his balance. As blank, so you're going to need probably the prefix, I mean the pronoun he.
As he ran.
Good. You've got your subject he and your verb ran. As he ran, Robin lost his balance. Good. That'll work. And as we're going through these, if you guys think of a different one you want to put in your book, that's fine. Or you can copy what we're doing here. Back to Bronx. This is prepositional, so no verb in that one.
Okay.
And you can look at your choices here or make up a different one.
Past a fawn. Past blank a fawn stood quickly.
Yeah, so past the blank, a fawn stood quietly. So you can use one of these words or make up your own.
An apple tree.
Okay, good. Past an apple tree, a fawn stood quietly. Good. So these are all example openers. You're going to be starting to use these in your writing too. So this is a good page to go back to. Okay, and then Abby, this one's clausal, so you will need a verb for this one.
When his competition fled, it was safe.
Okay, when
Wait,
his
no, it would be, sorry, when his competitor fled, it was safe.
okay, when his competitor fled. Did I spell competitor right? I think I did. Is it OR? I think it is. Let me just double check. Is that what you have? Yeah, that's right. Competitor. OR. Okay, when his competitor fled, it was safe. Good. Because you got his competitor is the subject, competitor, and then fled is the verb. Okay, so Paisley, this one's prepositional, so no verb for this one. Because of blank, Robin was tired. Because you probably needed an article there, like the or something.
Because of the race, he was tired. Robin
I
was
like
tired.
it. Yes, I like that. Because of the race. Because of the race, Robin was tired. Good. And then the last one, Bronx.
After the race, he knew it was a mistake.
Okay, good, except this is a 5, which means it's clausal, so you do need a verb. So after Robin, what did he do? So we need an action word there.
After he ran, he knew it was a
Okay.
mistake.
Yeah, that would work after he ran, because then you've got the subject and verb, although we already used he ran. That's something else. Anybody else have an idea of what we could put for this one? After
He shot the deer, he knew it was a mistake.
say it one more time.
After he shot the deer, he knew it was a mistake.
Oh yeah, I like that. Good. He is the subject and shot is the verb. So after he shot the deer, he knew it was a mistake. Good. I like it. All right, let's go to our practice page. (159). Abby, would you mind reading the sentence, please?
Confidently, the stranger pulled the bowstring, aimed at the target, and released the arrow, which flew straight.
Good. Excellent. So released is the vocabulary word, and that just means to be freed from something that is fastened or restrained. So let go, basically. Release the arrow. So we can put a check there. Articles a and the. Go ahead and label those. They're all those. Nouns, Paisley, help us find some nouns here.
Stranger,
Yes.
bowstring,
Yes.
target,
Yes.
arrow.
Good. Yep, that's all 4 of them. Good job. Adverbs, those usually have an ly at the end, so that should be pretty easy to find. Actually, one of them does not. So an adverb modifies the verb. So Bronx, where are the adverbs?
Confidentially.
Confidently, yep, that's one.
And straight.
Yes, good. That's telling how it flew. So that's the adverb. Good job.
Thank
You're welcome. Coordinating conjunction, that's fanboys. You guys probably remember that one. So Abby, what's the junction here? Coordinating conjunction.
And
Good. Skipping prepositional phrase, because I always like to come back to that. So now to Paisley, where is the who which clause?
which
Yeah, your internet is a little glitchy right there, but I think you said which flew straight, which is correct. So put parentheses around that. Main clause, Bronx.
Confidentially and arrow.
Okay, so confidently is actually the opener. So we're not going to count that as part of the main clause, but you're right. The rest of that, starting with the stranger all the way to arrow. So the stranger pulled the bowstring, aimed at the target, and released the arrow. That is the main clause. So you had it. You just included the opener, which you didn't need to do that part. Okay, so subject verb pairs. I'm going to have Abby help us with the verbs here first.
Pulled,
Yes.
would released count as
Yes.
one?
Yes, it is. Good.
And flew,
And flew, there's one more.
aimed.
Yes, good. So we got pulled, aimed, released, and flew. Paisley, how about subjects for each one of those things? So in the main clause here where the brackets are, there's a subject.
stranger,
Yes, good. And then inside the which clause, what's the subject?
Which.
Yep, good. Awesome. Back to Bronx with the opener. We kind of talked about it already. Do you know which one that is?
3.
It is 3. What is that opener?
ly.
Ly adverb. Good. All right, back to prepositional phrases. This will make it a little easier. There's only one. So Abby, do you know what it is?
At the target,
Yep, at is the only word that we haven't labeled yet. So that makes it easy to find. At the target. Good. So got that. Capital, easy peasy cheesy. We need some commas. Do you know where those go, Paisley? We need a couple commas here.
at the and,
Okay, because we're listing 3 things that he does, right? So looking at what he does, the stranger pulled the bowstring.
yeah,
So we need a comma there. Aimed at the target, comma, and released the arrow, which flew straight. There's already a comma there. But you're right, right before and, so we're listing those 3 things, and that's where you have to put in the commas. So good. And then the end mark is just a period. All right. That wasn't too bad. Any questions about this page? If not, you can shake your head no. Okay. So your homework will be the next 3 pages, as usual. Excellent. And even though we talked about the clausal opener and the prepositional opener, you'll see those in your homework. Today's practice page was just the ly, so it was a little bit different. But anyway, those openers are what we're focusing on at the end of the book here. Yeah, that was week 27, and week 30 is the last week. So, woohoo. You guys are doing it. Okay, going on to the writing. We're talking about coconut crabs again. Still working on that research paper. Talking about how, let's see, let me get my notes here. I want you to get out your keyword outline. This is the one you did on the big page. This. Where you've got your different sources. In the first, your homework this week was to find keywords or details that support the body of the coconut crab. So each one of these you should have filled out already about their bodies, everything related to their bodies from those three sources. And then today we're going to talk about fusing those outlines into one outline, and then that will become your first paragraph of your report. So just a little quick refresher, when you're writing a report, you have to have a subject because you have to know where you're going with it. It could be Abraham Lincoln, it could be volcanoes, it could be Mars, it could be like this one, coconut crabs. Okay, that's your subject. Your topics are your paragraphs, and each topic has details about it. So your topic this time was their bodies, like how are their bodies? What do they look like? How many legs do they have? What does their skeleton look like? And how do they function? And those types of things. So today we're going to fuse this. This is going to be a little tricky because each of you have a different version of your outline. It's not going to be exactly the same. So what we're going to do in class is try to fuse one together. And what you're going to do is look at starting with A, and looking at the facts that you put down as details for that topic. You're going to start choosing the ones that you think are most interesting about that topic. Notice you're going to have Roman numeral 1 here. Everybody's going to have the same thing, right? That's talking about the body. So for Roman numeral 1, go ahead and write in for the fused outline. We decided to use CC as a symbol. So we know that's coconut crabs. And we also have body, large, and I think we had crustaceans. Is that, or crustacean? Is that what you guys have for your other word? Okay. So that's basically what we have. CEAN. That's the same thing we have for Roman numeral 1 at the top, right? For all of A, B, and C. So we're going to bring that down here to the fused outline. So now you have 1 through 6. 7 is optional. So from these 3, you're going to choose 6 things that you found most interesting about the coconut crab. And here's how you can do it. You can copy exactly what you have on those numbers. So I'm going to start with, and by the way, Bronx, were you able to finish your outlines for your homework?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so look at your A. Do you see one of these, either 1, 2, 3, that you think is interesting you want to include in your report? What is one of those that you want to include?
I'm gonna say, wait, is this just like the body part here?
Yeah, just
On
about the
fuse
body.
too?
Yeah, for the fuse too.
I want to say about their skeleton. The
Okay,
exoskeleton
good. What do
or
you
something.
have? Yeah, what do you have next to that number? You have exoskeleton. What else do you have?
Then I have outsides and intestine or something like that. I don't know. I might be reading it wrong.
Exoskeleton, and you have outside. And then you don't know what the other word is on there?
No, it's weird.
Okay. Does anybody else have something that goes with that, or just those? You could have just those 2 words. That's okay too.
I have just those 2 words.
That's fine. Is that what you have too, Abby?
For A?
Yeah, information from A.
Oh, I have skeleton outside and 2 antennae.
And 2 antennae. Okay. So we could put that too. We could put the number 2 antennae. Now, here's where you guys can make your own. I'm going to do this one together as we're talking about it, but basically this is what we're working on. Looking at A, B, and C, looking at your keyword outline with your 3 keywords, your numbers, your symbols, your abbreviations, and you're pulling now from those outlines and making one that's fused, right? That includes the most important information or the information you found most interesting. So if you did not find this as interesting as other things, you don't have to put it in your fused outline. Does that make sense? Okay, but for the sake of class, so that we can practice doing this together, that's what I'm going to do, is do one together, but you put what you find interesting, looking at your other outlines. Does that make sense to you guys? Are you good with that? Okay, good. Does that make sense, Paisley? Okay, good. So, and that's just one Bronx picked. And Bronx, if you had something different here, you don't have to add that part. You could just have exoskeleton and outside. It's okay just to have those two. So it's
It
whatever.
was actually, that was the word that I was trying to say, actually.
Oh.
I didn't pronounce it right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. So you can add that there. That sounds good. And then how about Abby? Well, here's kind of a rule of thumb. I'm going to tell you this. We need 6, and we've got 3 outlines here. Kind of a rule of thumb is 2 from each, right? 2, 4, 6. But you might have found more information that you liked, that you found interesting in the first article. And maybe you pick 3 from here and 1 from here and 2 from C, you know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter how many from each you pick. You just want to look at each one and decide if you think it's interesting and then add it to the fused. So I'll just ask Abby, is there something else interesting that you found that you want to pull from one of these other outlines you want to add here for number 2?
In B, I wrote they're the size of a small dog.
Okay. So how did you write that in outline form?
Size, small dog.
Okay. Size, small. I think that's super interesting too. That's crazy that it would be a crab that size. Good. How about Paisley? What is something that you found in one of the outlines above that you found interesting?
I actually thought that the homework thing was supposed to do the fuse outline, so I kind of already did it. But I
Okay.
didn't write words. I just did the line to the arrow.
Okay, so you can work on that during class then. And then I know what you mean. You drew the arrow, and you can, if you guys want to draw arrows to this, you can, but you don't have to. That was more just like a visual to show you what we were going to be working on. So what does that make sense, Paisley? So while during class, you can go ahead and fill it in like this, wherever you're drawing from your arrow. Does that make sense? Okay. So what do you have? Where does your arrow come from for your third fact here?
Let's see. The females only go in water to hatch eggs. So female only, W for water, and eggs.
Okay, so tell me the fact again. Only the females go to the water to lay eggs. Is that right?
They only go in water to lay eggs.
Ah, okay. So you put female. Tell me the words you put again.
Female only, W with a circle around it for water.
Okay.
And eggs.
Okay. Or you could put H2O right there for your symbol. Okay. And if you guys found other things that was more interesting to you than that, you don't have to write this one. Does that make sense to you guys? So we're just practicing together, pulling but you put what you find interesting in your outline. That was good, Paisley. So then back to Bronx. How about another one? What's another interesting fact that you found? And it could be from any A, B, or C. It could be from any of those outlines.
Okay. I'm gonna do powerful, snap, and huge.
Huge. And you're talking about the pinchers, right? The
Yeah.
claws. Yeah. Yeah, pinchers. Powerful, snap, huge. And he knows that that's the pinchers, but if you have it written differently in your outline, put it in yours, what makes sense to you guys. And by the way, I also wanted to mention, these facts do not have to be in a particular order. So if you read about the powerful pinchers at the beginning of Article B, it's okay that it's going to be toward the end of your fused outline. They don't have to be in order. You could just put them in random order because basically you're taking facts. Now, if you were writing about a person and you're writing about maybe their lives or their life, then there would have to be a certain order to it, obviously. That's logical. But for this, you're just giving information about their bodies. So Abby, what's another interesting fact that you found in A, B, or C?
Multi-jointed legs.
Good. And multi-jointed is a hyphenated word, so you could count that as one. If you wanted to add like how many legs they have, which I think is, how many legs do they have, Abby? Just trying to remember. Is it 6 or is it 10? I think it might be 10. They have a lot of legs. What was it?
Oh, 10 multiple jointed legs.
10, that's what I thought. So if you wanted to put 10, you could. So 5 on each side. Paisley, how about one more for number 6? What is another interesting fact that you found in one of your articles?
They can only be underwater for an hour or they'll drown.
Okay, so what did you put for your 3 words here?
Underwater and then 1 HR, drowned.
Good. So they have lungs. They have that primitive lung. And then 7 is optional. So we're just going to leave it blank unless you see one more thing that you really liked from the information from your other outlines that you want to include. You can put that in here for number 7. So fusing your outlines is actually pretty easy. You're just basically, after you've made these 3 from those texts, then you pick what your favorites are, basically. Because really, when you're writing a report, you want to write what you find is interesting, because it makes it so much better to write about. You know, if you think it's something boring information, don't include it. Just pick the things that you find interesting. So now from here, obviously, you already know what to do next. This would be your outline you use for your first paragraph of your report. So for your homework this week, you will be writing your first paragraph. Now, I keep saying first paragraph. This is the body of the report. We are only doing 3 paragraphs. Later, once our class continues later, you will add an introduction paragraph and a conclusion paragraph, which would make it 5 total paragraphs. But for this assignment, the ultimate end to this assignment is only 3 paragraphs. So this is still paragraph 1. And you're going to just go through your outline and make your sentences, keeping in your head the checklist, right? Let's take a peek at the checklist really quick here. Make sure we got all that in our head for this one. Your checklist is as usual at the top. Don't forget, you're going to save a space for your title. You're not going to pick a title till later because we're only doing 1 paragraph at a time here. So you're going to pick a title later after you're done with the whole thing. And then your topic clinchers, you got to keep that in mind as you're going through your paragraph. So for paragraph 1, you need to keep that in mind, 2 to 3 key words, either highlighted or bolded. And then don't worry about that next check. And then here, oh, just kidding. Good news, guys. You only had 2 paragraphs. Haha. I thought it was 3. So that'll be easy. 2 paragraphs. That's it. So you've got ly adverb, who, which clause, strong verb, because clause, quality, adjective, and then your www.asia clause. Don't forget, it is a clause. So you need to have a subject and verb within that clause. Don't forget to also keep in mind not to use your banned words. Don't use those. Okay, so there's your checklist. Now, the next paragraph, because you have 2 paragraphs. So what I want you to do is just use this same paper and turn it to the back side. Okay. And then on the back side of your big paper, go ahead and set it up like we did here. So I'm going to leave mine on this side since mine's blank. Go ahead and set up your 3 outlines. And then at the bottom square here in the middle, the fuse. So go ahead and write in all those numbers, get it ready for the next topic. Before I forget, this is now going to be Roman numeral 2. Okay. So go ahead and make this Roman numeral 2, but these are all going to stay the same. Roman numeral 2, Roman numeral 2, and then Roman numeral 2 here. I got to turn off my heater. I'll be right back. Okay, let me know when you got your outline, this part set up. Got it, Bronx? Got it, Abby? Okay, good. So it should look exactly like this, but Roman numeral 2 instead of Roman numeral 1. Okay, because now we're working on that second paragraph. Go ahead and get out this from last week too. These are the possible topics. We got this list from reading the different articles and then labeling in the margin what each paragraph was about. And then we made this master list. And now we were looking for what is something they talk about in all 3 articles. And we started with the body. Now we got to pick a second topic. So we're not going to find something in all 3 categories anymore because body was the only one. So now we're looking at something that's in at least 2 different articles. So we've got habitat, that one has 2. Strength only.
Diet was in all of them.
Oh, you're right. Thank you. Diet. Thank you. You're right. I didn't even see it myself. So there you go. That makes it easy because you want to have something that's in all 3 articles if you can. But if this was a 3-paragraph assignment, the 3rd paragraph, you'd have to probably pick something that's not in all 3. It's something that just at least has 2 different sources, to use. All right, so diet it is. Thank you for pointing that out. So we've got diet now, and it's in all 3. So looking at your outline here, let's look at source text A. We're going to just get this started here. Source text A. This is this one. Starts with body, habitat, strength, and diet. And on the back, humans and crabs. Okay, so only looking at this paragraph here, which is the 2nd paragraph, is talking about both strength and diet. So we're going to focus on the diet for Roman numeral 2. So let's start by labeling that. Sorry, I'm trying not to mark on this because I want to reuse it for my other class too. But let's start with CC. And by the way, yours says Roman numeral 2 here. CC diet. Go ahead and put that on all 3. CC diet. We'll pick another word to add to that after we read a little bit about their diet. So go ahead and put that for A, B, and C. For Roman numeral 2, put CC diet. Let me know if you guys get confused because I want to make sure you understand what I'm doing here. All right, so we're starting with source text A. It's going to be paragraph 2. So here's how I'm going to do this because I want to make sure you guys have an opportunity to put what you find interesting. Remember, keeping that in your head, what's interesting about their diet. So right now, all 3 of you just read, kind of scan through that 2nd paragraph right here on source text A and find something that you think is interesting about their diet. I'm going to start with Abby this time. Just kind of scan through, and remember this information can be in a different order as the paragraph. So as you're looking through, kind of skimming those sentences, what is something interesting in that paragraph about their diet? And it could include how they get what they're trying to eat too, because I know it talks about stabbing the husks. That includes what they're eating, so that would be part of their diet. So what do you think, Abby? And then I'm going to go to Paisley and then Bronx. So be thinking of what you want to put as something interesting about their diet. So did you find anything, Abby?
It says they're omnivores.
Omnivores, yeah. That is really interesting. Okay, so what else could we include? We could put omnivores here. Oops, sorry, I misspelled that. Omnivores. Basically, you could say eat everything. Or eat anything, whatever they want, basically is what it says. So however you want to put that, this is yours now. So if you guys pick something else to put there, that's okay too. What about you, Paisley, in that paragraph? What else did you find interesting about their diet?
They will find cats and rats and pick them apart.
Okay, so how can we turn that into an outline here for keywords? That's a good one.
You could just say cats, rats devour, or
Yes. I like it. How about Bronx? What did you find interesting in that paragraph?
The second paragraph of source text A.
Correct. Yep, we're right here. Second paragraph, source text A. You're looking for information about their diet, like what do they eat or how do they eat?
Well, they eat fruits and plants. Is where
Yeah,
I think this is like fleshy, I think, right by fruits. I believe that's what that word is.
fleshy. Yeah, you're right. Fleshy fruits, which would be like cantaloupe or peaches or something under the skin that has a lot of, they call it fleshy, something like that. Not like a pomegranate where you open a pomegranate and you got those little seeds and stuff, and they're not like that. So it's something that has like a lot of fleshy,
like avocados.
like avocados, which are absolutely my favorite. Plant litter, though. Still haven't figured out what is plant litter. You guys know
I
what?
also did find where they also devour sleeping victims too.
Ah, that's an interesting thing. What is plant litter? Do you guys know what plant litter is? Oh. Plant litter. Okay, so you learn something new every day. Plant litter is dead plant material, such as leaves, bark, needles, and twigs that have fallen to the ground. So it's dead organic material and its constituent nutrients that are added to the top layer of the soil. So there you go. Parts and pieces from other plants, and it can be like mulch. You probably heard that word before. All right, so fleshy fruit. Plants. And then that other, what else did you say, Bronx? You told me one more thing.
They devour their sleeping victims.
They're sleeping victims. Yep. So you can add that as 4 if you want. Or anything else you found interesting from that paragraph you want to add, go ahead and do that there, 4 and 5. But you can stop at 3. If you're like, I'm good, that's all I want to take from that paragraph, that's fine. You only have to have 3. Okay, so give me a thumbs up when you're ready to move on to B. Okay. Okay. Looking at source text B, focusing on diet. Here's source text B. It's on page 121. Again, second paragraph here is going to be about the diet. So we're going to do the same thing. Go ahead and take a minute to kind of read that paragraph to yourself. And then think about the interesting facts that you come across. It can be the same as source text A. It can be same information, or if you find something new. A lot of the same information there. That's a long paragraph. There's more in the back, so I'll give you a minute to read that. I kind of like that paragraph, how it talks about cannibals, killers, and thieves. You could actually use that as one of your items here for a fact, just putting cannibals, killers, and thieves with exclamation marks, and then describe what each one of those means. It's just an idea if you like that idea. But what do you think, Abby? What's one of the facts about their diet that you found interesting in that text?
That they eat younger coconut crabs.
Yeah. So what could we put here for your 3 words?
Younger, or we could do eat younger and then the abbreviation for coconut crabs.
Okay. And I guess right there, we could put the word cannibal. Because we have one more word we can use. I think it has 2 N's. Yeah, it does. Okay, Paisley, what's another interesting fact you found from that paragraph?
That they eat dead animals.
Okay. So we can just put eat dead animals. Bronx, anything else you found interesting in that paragraph?
Not really. I'm still kind of trying to skim through this too.
Okay. I think it's interesting. Okay, I'm looking right here, Bronx, kind of in the middle of this on page 121, that they consume seabirds. I mean, crabs eating birds, that's kind of crazy to me. I think that's interesting.
I also just found one. It says, oh man, where did I just find that? It also says that they eat meat.
They eat meat. Yeah. Are you on the back of that?
Yes. It says the crabs can pierce holes in the coconuts and eat the meat, although it can take several days before the coconut is opened.
Yeah. Okay. So that meat it's referring to is that. Have you guys ever opened a coconut before, or have you ever seen the inside of a coconut before?
Yeah.
And that white part is kind of thick. That's considered the coconut meat, even though it's not meat like a cow or pig or something like that. But that's what they call that. So that meat is the coconut part of the inside part, not the liquid, but I'm having a hard time putting it in words, but you know what I'm talking about, that part inside. Okay, so we could put coconut meat. What if we put coconut meat? And I like that it can take several days before the coconut is open. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know how to put that into one word. But we could add that for 4 here. We could say several days open. Maybe I'll just put 1 C instead of coconut crab, 2 C's, just 1 C for coconut. Several days to open the coconut. Just an idea. All right, so I think we are out of time. One thing I wanted you to add to your outline is one common word that I'm finding already in A and B is that they're omnivores. So I think that would be a good place to put another word up here next to diet is omnivores. And you can write that on all 3. So now we have coconut crab, diet, omnivores, and you can put that on all A, B, and C. Okay. And we're going to stop there. So your homework is to write just that first paragraph. And then I do want you to finish A, B, and C. I think that shouldn't take too long for you to finish B because we're pretty much done with B. So finish up C. And then we'll do the fused one together in class again next week. So your homework is to finish writing the first paragraph, which is about the body, using your fused outline, and finish from source text C, finding information about the diet. So here you're going to have, again, CC, diet, and then omnivores. They're all going to be the same for the Roman numeral, but you're going to find out facts about that in source text C. So A, B, and C should be done by next week, and then your first paragraph. You guys have any questions about your homework? No? All right. Good job, guys. I will see you next week. Have a
See you
good
next week.